What if the most important turning point in British governance was not the rise of monarchy, but the moment it was challenged, removed and then restored under new conditions? Not the creation of power, but its first real constitutional limit. Because under the Stuarts, the question was no longer who ruled, but what authority even meant. Welcome to the making of Britain. The Stuart dynasty begins in 1603 when James VI of Scotland inherits the English throne as James I of England. For the first time, the crowns of England and Scotland are united in a personal union, but not yet a political one. The kingdoms remain separate in law, institutions, and governance. James I of England arrives with a vision of unified monarchy, but the structural reality is more complex. Two political systems, two parliaments, and two traditions of authority now sit under one crown. This tension becomes central to the Stuart story. Under James I and later Charles I, tensions grow between monarchy and parliament over taxation, religion, and authority. The monarchy asserts a doctrine of divine right, while Parliament increasingly insists on its own role in granting revenue and shaping governance. These disagreements are not abstract, they are structural. Without parliamentary consent, the Crown struggles to raise funds. Without royal assent, Parliament lacks executive control. The system is balanced, but unstable. As you've walked this far with me, you can really support the channel by giving this video a like. It helps more than you can imagine, so thanks. By 1642, political tensions collapse into armed conflict. The English Civil War divides the country between royalists and parliamentarians, each claiming legitimate authority. This is not simply a war of succession, it's a war over the structure of the state itself. The English Civil War transforms governance into a battlefield. Authority is no longer assumed, it must be defended militarily and ideologically. The execution of Charles I in 1649 marks an unprecedented moment in English history. The monarchy is abolished and England becomes a republic under the Commonwealth. Charles I of England becomes the first reigning English monarch to be formally tried and executed by his own subjects. This is not only a political rupture, but a conceptual one. Kingship is no longer inviolable. The Commonwealth period under Oliver Cromwell attempts to stabilise governance without monarchy, but struggles with legitimacy and internal division. At this point, it's worth asking, when authority is removed entirely, does it disappear or simply reassemble in a different form? Share your thoughts in the comments, because the Civil War raises a fundamental question about whether governance can ever exist without a centre of power. In 1660, the monarchy is restored under Charles II. However, restoration does not mean a return to previous conditions. The experience of civil war and republican rule permanently alters the relationship between Crown and Parliament. Charles II of England rules within a more cautious constitutional environment. The monarchy returns, but its authority is no longer absolute in practice, even if it is still formally significant. Religious conflict continues to shape Stuart governance. Attempts to enforce uniformity in religion contribute to instability, particularly under Charles I. Later settlements seek to balance religious control with political stability. If you subscribe, there's a whole back catalogue of videos like this one for you to enjoy. Over time, religion becomes less a direct instrument of royal authority and more a regulated component of the state system. In 1688, another major constitutional shift occurs when James II is removed and replaced by William of Orange and Mary II in what becomes known as the Glorious Revolution. Glorious Revolution establishes the principle that monarchy is conditional on parliamentary agreement. The Bill of Rights in 1689 further limits royal power and defines parliamentary supremacy in key areas of governance. This marks a decisive shift. Monarchy is no longer the ultimate source of authority. The Stuart line continues until 1714, but its political influence is defined less by direct rule and more by constitutional transformations. The monarchy survives, but its power is fundamentally restructured. The idea of absolute monarchy has effectively ended in England, replaced by a system in which authority is shared and regulated. The Stuart period lays the groundwork for constitutional monarchy. Parliament becomes central to governance. Legal limits on royal authority are formalised, and political legitimacy becomes tied to institutional agreement rather than personal rule. If the Stuarts show that even monarchy can be challenged, removed, or redefined, what does that suggest about the nature of political authority? Is power something inherent or something granted by systems that can change over time? Because the story of the Stuarts is not just about civil war or revolution. It's about the moment Britain begins to understand that no form of authority is beyond question. YouTube has chosen this video for you to watch next. Have a look, I think you'll like it. And if you ding the bell, you'll be notified when new episodes are published, so you won't miss any. Thanks for walking a little further down the path that made Britain with me. Take care, and I'll see you on my next walk. Bye.